Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you very much for joining our research method class this morning. Yeah, I think we have a break last week, yeah, because of the semester breaks, and I believe we should resume the classes starting from today. Uh, I think before we start the class, I would like to remind the UCSI student who is taking the research methodology subjects to submit the assignments. Yeah, I mean, I don't forget to submit your assignment. Yeah, maybe uh, let me share a bit. Uh, Let me share a bit on your assignment so that you don't forget. Let me share the screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, some of you who already taking the subject, you don't have to do the assignment, but some of you who is taking the subject for this particular semester, please ensure you submit your assignments, yeah, before. We only have two assignments, so the subject should be very easy lah. I hope it should be light and easy for you. Because of I think we have only one assignment, and the other one will be your proposal presentations, yeah, that will be at the end of this semester. So basically, the assignment is not that difficult. What you need to do is that you need to find a thesis. Eh? You need to find a thesis, and you need to write an essay. The essay should be like 1,200 and 1,500 words. Yeah? Uh, it's very simple. Just try to answer these questions lah. So we have like 12 questions. Yeah? 12 questions. By answering the question related with the thesis that you're reading, I think there shouldn't be a problem. So no right or wrong in here in this assignment. We just trying to look at how critically you evaluate the thesis. I think one of the very important component we're going to discuss as for today is that it's very important to have these critical evaluations, yeah, critical reviews. Yeah. So I think with this assignment, we hope that you can have your critical reviews on the thesis that you read, yeah, that you write. So hopefully, by reading that, you can have understanding of that. Yeah. So just a reminders for those who's taking the subject for this semesters. Yeah, please submit the assignment. Then I think for the submission, I will provide you the link for that. Yeah, you can easily just upload it, or maybe you can even WhatsApp it to me. Also, is okay. Yeah, I think our number is not that big, so we don't need complicated submission systems lah for that. Yeah. Okay, just a reminder, I think we can discuss and you can ask any questions, yeah, regarding that. I think I explained to you before during our briefings, yeah, the briefing for the new students, yeah. I think May, yeah, last May I briefed to you about the assignments, yeah. Okay. So today's shouldn't be the lecture shouldn't be that long. Yeah, we're only going to cover one topics. Yeah, I think which I believe is very crucial and important for your research. Yeah, which is the literature reviews. Yeah, let me share the slide. If you have any question, feel free to write the questions in the chat box, or maybe you can just raise up your hands. If I able to answer your questions, I'll try my best lah. But if you're not, I will bring it to the next class. Yeah. So hopefully we can discuss further on that. Yeah. Okay. Just a brief introduction of our topics today. I don't have many slides, so it's like 10 to 12 slides, which I hope, but the content was quite a lot, yeah, for these topics. But I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, yeah, so that you can understand the gist of it, and basically to discuss further on these particular things. Yeah. One thing is that literature reviews, yeah, based on my experience, literature reviews is the easiest steps in the research, yeah, because you don't have to write your own, yeah, basically you're referring to somebody else's works, yeah. So it's so I normally when the student are starting doing research, I will ask them to do a thorough literature reviews, yeah, because we will explain further on that one. Because you need a background check, yeah, like for example, like you looking for somebody who will to marry your daughter, you need to do background checks. You know? So before you start doing your research, it's very important for you to start a background checks. With that is the literature reviews. Uh, it's the easiest steps, but the hardest steps to do it right. So most of the people they wrongly do these steps. Yeah, there's a big difference between literature report and literature reviews. Yeah, in report, you are reporting what other people is doing. Yeah, what other research has been done, etc. But review, you have to put a critical thinking. You know, that's the difficult part. Yeah, you have to put your reviews. Yeah, I mean you have to put your opinion there. So you basically can see the maps. Yeah? So if you consider your postgraduate journey as a journey, you need a clear maps. Yeah? That clear maps normally comes from your literature reviews. Yeah? With that, so that's why most of the students, when they are not clear during the literature reviews, they will have problems. Yeah, throughout the research. So that's why you should be very careful. Yes, I keep telling my students, do literature review first, look at the study that has been done, then you can work together on that. Yeah. Okay. So today's basically we will be discussing these six components. Yeah. One is introduction. We will be discussing about the purpose of it. Yeah. What should I do? Yeah. Before we're writing the review, how to quote. Yeah. And refer to the works of others. We will be talking also about referencing. Yeah. And how to organize your literature reviews in principles. Okay, what is a literature reviews? Yeah, just to make everything's clear. Yeah, literature review is an important role. Yeah, during when you're conducting a technical research. Oh, the English is wrong. I just realized it, so I have to edit it. Okay, literature review is a surveys and discussion that aims to review a critical point of current knowledge on the particular topic in the given area of research. So it's very clear. Review uh, to review critical points of the current knowledge in the particular topic. So in concise, I mean in brief, you can say that what has been studied, argue and establish about a topic. Yeah. So it's very important because research is not okay. Please allow other student to uh, admit to the lobbies, yeah, because I can't see the name. So please just enroll them in this discussions, yeah. So what has been studied? That was the first discussions. Yeah? So when you pick up a topic, you're interested in the topics, it is very important for you to know what has been studied in that particular topic, because research is not something like it's an inquiries, but in the systematical manners. Yeah, so you need to understand what are the background study has been done. Yeah? Of course, argue and establish. Yeah? Because sometimes when you start a research, you don't want to repeat other people's research, especially for your if you're doing experimentals or modeling, yeah, as your methodology of your research. So it's very important to know what people have done so that you can basically provide a new approach. Yeah? So there's things called contribution later on, yeah, on your particular research. Uh, Cooper in 1988 stated that literature review used as its database report. Yeah, so basically it tried to I mean, you need to have a kind of database reports. You need to know, especially when you did a PhD. Yeah, I mean, for master's level, sometimes once you know how to look things academically, how to argue academically, we consider that as okay. But for PhDs, you have to be very thorough, yeah? Especially on literature reviews. You need to have a database, yeah, database report. Why? It's not only for the research, actually. Yes, it's not only for the for finishing your thesis, but actually for your future career in later, for your future career later. So when you graduated with your PhD topics, you know where you're heading to. This is happening. Yeah, if you realizing some of the PhD graduates, yeah, where they got PhD, when they finish, they don't know where to go. When they Yes, yes. Is the sound clear? Oh, sorry. When some people graduating PhDs, they don't know where to go. This is a common things happening with the current academicians, yeah, which is quite surprising. I'm quite surprised in this situation because normally when you did your PhD, you are supposed to have a kind of pathway, to move forward. So when you have a problem in defining your scope, your futures of your research, then it will be we will need to question. That's why there's a joke. Some academic says PhD without philosophy. So they say it's a doctorate without philosophy. You did a PhD research, but you don't have the philosophical anchor on that. Yeah, that's why it's the remember I tell you about big pictures, big pictures, uh, research gaps. Yeah, I think that's a research scenario. These are terms that's very important for you to know. Yeah. A literature review is a written in essay format. Yeah, I let you know. Literature review in thesis, it should written in the essay format. Yeah. What you need to do is that you need to groups. Yeah, groups related works. Yeah, this is the one. The first stage is to identify it. Yeah, I will tell you later how important the focus is. Yeah, uh, you have to find it. Yes, you need to find whatever literature you find related with your studies, then group it. Yeah. So the group it where the group together and discuss trend development and focusing one a time at a time. So most of the students, when I read the literature review, they just explaining what they found. Yeah, in Cooper said something like that. Rasdi said something like that. Ahmad said something like that. So it's just a flow of opinions. You shouldn't do that. Yeah, in your literature review, you should group it together first. Then you give your review on those groups. Yeah. It's not a summary. Yeah, it evaluates previous and current research. Yeah, in regards to how relevant. How it relates to your own research. This is the most important. It's not a report. Yeah? It's not a summary, but it's a review. Yeah? Literature can be obtained various means. Yeah? It's a preprint, journal article, conference proceeding, books, etc. So you can. That's why they call it published and unpublished resource. Yeah? A good literature review is characterized by logical flow of ideas, current and relevant reference with consistent, appropriate referencing styles, yeah? Proper use terminology, unbiased and comprehensive view of the previous research on the topics. uh, when you did a science-oriented literature, yeah, when you did psychology literature, sometimes the literature reviews precede the research proposals. Yeah, so you need when you did, as I said before, for science-oriented, especially when you did experiment, modelings, you really need to know what people have done before, because we don't want to repeat what things has been done by the previous researcher. So if somebody has done it similar research to you, then you use that as a stepping stone for your research in the future. Yeah. Okay. What is the purpose of literature reviews? Yeah? there are at least three purposes. Please take note on this one because it's very important. Number one is that we would like to analyze a segment of published body of knowledge. This is one of very important uh, purpose of literature reviews, because we want to know the question normally is that what is the research scenarios, research scenarios in these topics. So you as a researcher and maybe a PhD holder in the futures must be able to know that what are the research has been done in these topics, in your topics. Then from there, you are able to map them, to put them in the classification and to review them one by one. That's the first objective. Second objective is that to highlight specific argument and ideas in the fields of studies. So when you browse through it, not just map it. So what the first step was to go through it, find the proper literature review, then you group it, then you have to map it. The first purpose, critically segment of published body of knowledge. I think this is the first segment of that. Second one is that when you did literature review, you have to highlight specific argument and ideas. This is very important because not just type of classification of it, but you need to know the content. What is the main arguments and the main ideas related with that particular topic. And I think that's also very important. And the last one, which is I think most of you is doing it, we call it the gap of knowledge. Basically, based on research done by some researchers, there's no such things as a they call it new, totally new research. So most of the time, when people have done an idea, the research mentioned that if one person have an idea, actually there are at least 70 or 700 people are thinking about the same ideas, but they might think in the different ways. So that was the so. But whatever is it, is it important for you to have the gap of knowledge? Because we will like, actually for me, the gap of knowledge is like the placement, how you place your research among others research that has been done. So I put it here, in any proposal, the detail is written to convince the audience. So when you have a proposal defense, literature review is very important. Especially how you place your research among other research. Either PhD or masters, is very important to have that. So for those who is going for proposal defense, either this semester or next semester, you must be very clear on the research scenarios or research that has been done in your specific topics. In some cases, in contrast, you also might want to show you the understanding research that has been done. So sometimes the backgrounds or the they call it big pictures was given by a supervisor, because as I know, some students are still new in the topics. So it's really not possible for them to know the research scenarios. But your supervisor, the one who already gone through many research, publications, course, they're attending a lot of course, discussions, conference. So they know better than you in terms of gap of knowledge and the placement of studies. That's in that cases. Okay, you need to highlight, what is the problem, why it is needed. I think this is the first question that you're going to receive during your Viva examination. If I am your examiner, that was my first question is why we need this research. That is the common question that I will ask to any Viva candidates, any candidates during the Viva session. Who was involved with the problems? Who needs the solutions? I think you need to very clear on your issues and how your research can contribute into that. So the purpose of the review, I put it there. You can take a note there. Overviews, on breadth of knowledge, scholarly abilities, yeah, refine information, identify methods. Yeah, so it's very important. That's why I keep telling my students, do your literature review first, have clear pictures, because a lot of research was conducted without a clear pictures, without, I call it, without a clear point of departure, without a clear point of departure. So that is very important. So when you have that kind of situation, at the end of the day, the whole research can collapse. I've seen lots of uh, students, yeah, when they already finished the studies, they presented in the vivacosis, the whole thesis was collapsed because they didn't do a proper literature reviews or they didn't do a thorough literature review before they start the research. So for those who starting, want to about to start, maybe you're in the midst of your research, re-evaluate back your literature reviews. Try to work on that. I think this is very important. Yeah. What should I do before writing the review? I think this is a homework. Yeah? Before you did your review, this is a homework. Number one, you need to clarify. Yeah? So sometimes you need to check with your supervisor. Yeah, especially on the keywords. The gist of the review is the keyword and the scope. Yeah. So what kind of the review that I need to do? I need to browse. Yeah, I need to ask this to your supervisor how many source, what type of source, yeah, synthesize critics, yeah, should I evaluate your source? So these are the things that you need to be very clear, yeah. So when your supervisor want you to do literature reviews, please ask them, yeah. So it's okay to clarify with supervisor. I mean, ask for the advice, yeah. How many books, yeah? How is the scope of my studies, yeah. So it's very important, yeah. Later on we discuss on that. Find models, yeah. I think this is also very important. uh, Most of the students, when they start the research, they don't find a model. Find models means they looking at the similar research, yeah, similar research with yours, yeah? So if, especially in your countries, yeah, if you do it in Malaysia, try to find similar research in Malaysia. Yeah, that is better because the context might be different if you refer to some research in UK, some research in Europe, or some research in other part of the world. So if you can find it, similar models in Malaysia is better. If you do it in Indonesia, you do it in China, try to find a similar model related with that. Because PhD or even masters doesn't have to, you don't have to invent the wheel. Sometimes you just need to modify your wheel. Yeah. Yeah, so it's easier. So it makes your life easier. So when you find a specific model, then you can modify from there. The third one, which is very important, you have to narrow your topics. Yeah, lots of PhD research was done without a clear understandings on the specific topics. Yeah, I've experienced that. So I've been supervising many students. I know a student because you are new, you are new in the fields, you are new in the topics, so you think very wide. So I want to do something on the sustainable architectures. Okay, oh, sustainable architecture, oh, that's big. What aspect of sustainable architecture that you want to focus? I would like to do some things on the traditional architectures. Where let one at one time, one of my student from Pakistan, yeah, I was student from Pakistan, he was uh, explaining that, sir, I want to do a research on the housing problem in Pakistan. Said, sir, your topic was very wide. He was one of the top government servant in Pakistan, so during that time, in 2000s, 9 or 2010, so a long time ago. So I tell him, sir, you have to narrow down your topics. Number one is that you might need to consider one area only, maybe in Lahore, in Islamabad, or some specific area, yeah, in Pakistan. Second one is that what if you talk about housing problems, there's a lot of housing problems. What type of housing problem that you want to focus? Is it, for example, a crime? Is it children safety? Is it this internal environment, yeah, of the house? So what aspect of it? You say, no, 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 I know what I'm going to do, then I'm going to do that. So after 2, 3 years, he was coming back, I mean, oh, sorry, 2 or 3 semesters, he going back to Pakistan, he coming back, almost a year. So the topic was too big. So I found so many literature and I don't know where to go. That's always happening. So it doesn't mean that one thing very important is that you need to understand that don't throw everything on your research, yeah, on your research, because uh, sometimes some students they find a new thing, they want to give everything through their research, which create lots of issues now because you have to scope down. Because don't forget, you have to finish your studies within, maybe for masters maximum was 2 years, for PhD maximum was 4, 5 years maybe. Some people did 10 years for PhDs, yeah, because they don't have a specific or narrow topics to start. So that create lots of difficulties in the future. Yeah. Okay. Consider whether your source are current. I think this is a very interesting one. Yeah. If you, I have an experience, yeah, because I say, oh, not many people writing about moss. Yeah. Studies about moss in the world. I was saying that. So one day I go to Google Scholar, so I do a search, yeah, on a kind of research has been done related with the moss, yeah, not only architecture, maybe some related with the culture, Islamic cultures, Islamic socio political things, yeah. So when I read that, I found a lots of writings actually on these topics. So don't think about some student that, oh no, not many people, no one has done it. The favorite words, but some student is that, no way, sir, nobody has done it. Are you sure? I said, are you sure nobody has done it? I said, yeah, yeah, sir. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. So when I go to the Google Scholar, I browse the topic, then I found lots of research has been done in related with that. I remember there's a one of my student doing research on the position or sitting arrangement for elementary students, yeah, elementary students in the classroom, the school design. Yeah. So he said, no, sir, nobody has done it before. So when I just flipped through, then I found hundreds of research has been done on that in terms of pedagogical, in terms of interior design, in terms of learning experience. So lots of research has been done actually. So when I found it, I tell him that, look, lots of people have done this way. What differentiates yours with others? I think that's the most important. Yeah. Please uh, consider or check whether your source are current. Yeah, you have to check. I know some topic might not need a current reference. Yeah, for example, if doing a historical studies, you're doing a theoretical studies. Yes, but you need to understand that the knowledge was growing. Yeah, the knowledge is growing. So that when it's growing, yeah, then you know maybe there's a research related with yours, but in a different field. Yeah, I think that's the most important. Strategies for writing literature review. Number one, find a focus. Yeah, so for those who is doing a research here, so start to find your focus. If possible, try to be as specific as possible. Yeah, don't go for something very wide. Of course, you're going to develop it further later on. You need to add some information, scope down, maybe you enlarge certain areas, certain aspect of it, but you have to scope it down so that you are not doing with review which was not meaningful for your research. Yeah. Construct a working thesis statement. Yeah, some people use the terms hypothesis. Yeah, I always say hypothesis is the something. Sometimes you suspect, you suspect into something. Then when you suspect things, that I call as hypothesis lah. Yeah, so you might be think it should be like this, or you want to do like that, or you think it's happening like that. So it's like a suspicion. That's what we call a working thesis statement. Yeah. More and more cultural studies scholar accepting popular media. I think this is a new trend. Yeah? Even though it's not common, yeah? but now, whether we like it or not, yeah? We have to think from the social medias. No, not social medias. It's a more popular medias like newspapers, online articles. Yeah? But of course, you cannot trust that 100%, 100%. Yeah? Some students they just take it, copy paste in their thesis, and present it. Oh, that's a former suicide lah. Then people will argue and asking you about lot of things. So that's not the way. So when you have something. So when you are doing a research, I mean, we train you to be academics. Academic is someone who question something. Yeah, when they receive information, they will question it. They will check the facts, check the facts, check the data and everything, then try to find a more or less a better a view of that. Yeah. So later on, I think during the second and third lectures, Prof. Tajudin was also presenting the idea about histories, one perspective of history, one perspective of philosophies, which was, I think, is very important for our understanding in the future. Yeah? What are the key source, major issues and debates, political standpoints. Yeah? I think this is a kind of questions that you can ask during your literature reviews. Yeah? Okay. How to quote and refer to works of others. Yeah? The format might be varies. Yeah? I mean, this is very important. You don't need to you don't have to surprise. There's some of the research might be done in a different ways. Yeah? Like ethnographics. Yeah? Some students are doing questionnaire surveys. Some doing an interview. So different ways of doing research will affect the literature review that you found. Uh, there's a dozen of different styles. I think this one you have to check with your university's standards. Yeah? But one thing very important is that let me check. Put it there. So this is very important. Yeah. Uh, when you write literature reviews, every words that you put in the thesis, if you didn't put a source, it's yours. That was the general consensus. Yeah. So that's why you have to be very careful, especially when you putting a bold statement. Yeah. Some people they put a bold statement. For example, I give you an example there. For the last 50 years, there are no new theories in architecture histories in Malaysia. That is a very bold statement. Yeah. So if you think you are able to responsible on your statements, then it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. I mean, you know exactly, you've been reading many articles, you've been reading, so you are confident that there are no new theory development in this topic. But if you are not, yeah, and I believe most of the student is not. Yeah, well, I don't think most of you have experience. Yeah, it took you like 40 or 50 years of experience to come into that statement. Yeah. So when you are not sure about the statement, then you put a reference. Yeah. That's what the importance of your literature reviews then. So whatever you write some things and you don't think that is your own work, you refer to somebody else. So when you have your examination later on, you say, oh no, this is not my opinion. I referring to him. I referring to her. Yeah. So it's more safe for you. Yeah. So you are not responsible of that. Yeah. Because during the examination, I'm telling you, the examiner are very experienced. They will ask you a very specific, and they will dig up for that particular information. Yeah. Is the practice of acknowledging source of information, I think we have used in an assignment. Yeah, so you have to be very familiar in this. Yeah, I think in that later on we will discuss about that in more details. Yeah. So how to write organize a literature reviews? Yeah, basically you need to have an introduction. Yeah, you remember every literature review must have an introduction. Yeah, I put there what are the definition issues. Yeah, appropriate context. Yeah, point out overall trends, what is published about the topics. So it's like you introduce them. Uh, so you cannot just start with the review with that Pablo 2012 mentioned this. John 2023 was mentioning this. So you cannot like that. You need to put an introduction. Yeah. So in your review, put an introduction first. What are the? I mean, normally we put a backward. Yeah. We write the content, the body of the review, then we go to the introduction. So introduction is like an introduction, yeah, what you have read. For example, like you're mentioning that based on the this literature review was conducted to, for example, like you have done topics in there are 5 categories of topics that you found. One is the topic about this, second one is this. So this literature review will discuss about each of these topics. So the content, so the introduction to the content of your literature reviews. I think that's the most important. Then you go to the bodies of it. Yeah, when you discuss your source, can be chronological, yeah, or you can be thematics. Yeah, this is your option. Yeah. Some people they prefer to have it in the chronologies because the timeline is important for them. Yeah. Chronological. But other people they put it a thematic. Thematic means you group it, like I mentioned to you before, you group into certain topics, then you discuss it. Yeah. Or methodological. Methodological means you discuss it based on your method in relation with your methodologies that you found. For example, or some of the qualitative approach in this topic discuss it from the perspective of this, and this. While other do a quantitative review. So it's depend on you. So these are 3 options that you can choose on explaining your literature reviews. But if it is not ethnographics or historical research, normally you will choose the thematics, yeah, or methodologically. Yeah, so I think this is topic. And now at the end, you must have a conclusion. Literature review must have conclusion. To conclude, what are the one you found? Normally at the end, I will ask my student to put a table, yeah, to make your readers' lives easier. So when they read your review, you provide them a kind of summaries at the end, and you conclude. Yeah. So the summaries can help the readers. Oh, okay, this is what the person have done. This is the research that has been done related with the topics, and this is what the placement. Okay. Okay. Within each section of the review, it is important to discuss how the research relate to other studies. Yeah. How is it similar or different? Yeah. What other study has been done, as well to demonstrate how it relates to your own works. I think that's the gist of it. Yeah. When you discuss about your review, it's not only about discussing about the content of the topics, but you have to relate the literature that you found with the research that you are doing. You know, that is the most important. That's why when you are not relate that a literature review with your research, some people will say, what's the relevance of these literature reviews? They will ask that question. I say, I read your literature review. It's a storytelling one, but it's not related with your research. That you will in trouble at that time. Okay, I think that's all for me. It's a very short one. I think we can discuss if you have any questions. Any questions from the students here? Let me see. Any question from the students? Today we don't have that many. Last week I think we have 30 plus. Sometimes any question maybe from the students here? Feel free to ask. Yes, Robin Hood. Yes.
Yeah, I will introduce myself. My name is Robin Hood Jeremy Benturuan. I am a doctoral student from North Sumatra University in architecture. I want to ask you about in the beginning of your presentation.
I think your phone.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Sorry, your phone. I think your voice was gone. Can you repeat the question?
Okay. It is clear.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes. Please.
Hear me, sir? Hello.
Hello. Can you speak louder?
Hello.
Yes. We can hear you, but the question I cannot hear.
Hello. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes. I can hear you now.
Okay. I want to ask you in your beginning presentation, you said about research gap and research scenario. It is same or it make it, if we can get the research scenario in the same time we can get the research gap, of it's the different thing, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Robin Hood. Yeah. Okay. See, I think the first lectures, I think it's good if you can watch the first lectures. The first lectures when I talk about starting a research. Uh, I I I was talking about how actually we talk about big pictures. Before you come out into any research scenarios or research gaps. We need to talk about big pictures. In every research, you need to have things called big pictures. Big pictures, if I rephrase it in a simple way, you need a philosophical anchor, of your research. Philosophical anchor means every research that when either is it scientific or it might be historical, it might be philosophical. They must have a kind of philosophical constructs, and that's what we call as a big pictures. Why we need that research? So the first questions that you will receive if you have a Viva Voce examination was, why we need this research? You need to answer that. So you need to explain to them, this is the problem, this is the issues, this is the needs, why we need this one, because of this. That's the first one. Then they call it big pictures. And big pictures is normally sometimes it's not coming from your field. For example, like architecture. Architecture is specific field. But the big pictures might be coming from economy, might be coming from socials, might be coming from politics, might be coming from other field, language. So it's very important for you to know what are the main reason your research to be happening, to be conducted. And that things, if I telling my student, it should be urgent and it should be important. Otherwise, people will ask the question, why we need this research if it is not important and it is not urgent? I think that's the first question you need to answer. Okay. Then, after that, after you have the reason, after you have the clear needs of your research, you need to go to a step further. Yeah. Most of the researcher in my previous lecture, I'm telling you, most of the researchers today, they are focusing on research gaps, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. But sometimes they losing this they call it philosophical constructs, especially for research who is doing technical research, yeah, experimentals, scientific. Sometimes they say, okay, for example, like I found a research, I examined one student in one of the public university in Malaysia. He was doing a louver. In architecture, you have a louver. Yeah? So the louver for sun, you try to protect yourself from the sun radiations. At the same time, you want to have the air coming in. So you put a louver. Yeah. When you have a louver, the research is specifically they said that most of the louver in the market was using like 9 degrees or 10 degrees. Mine is my experiment is about moving it into 15 degrees, and let's see the impact of it. So for me, nothing wrong with the research, but at the beginning, we need to question first what is the philosophical construct of it, yeah? Whether the louver is really needed in the context of Malaysia or not. So I will ask the question. So before we depart into a very specific research, we have to be very clear on why we need this research at the first place. So back to the questions. Yeah? Research scenario means you need to know what research has been done in your topics, in your specific research topics, and where your research sit among them. Yeah, that's what we call a research scenarios. Research gaps means you find out a specific hole. For me, research gaps in the simple manner means things that people have done it. So things that people have not done it, haven't done it, means that a research gap lah. Yeah. But of course, there's a question: how do you know? Is no one has done it? Have done it? So, but that's the challenge, yeah, for the students. But this scenario is bigger. You need to find out what are the people research has been done by other researcher. Yeah. And understanding this scenario means, yeah, you can say that, okay, for me, I always use the word they are at least. Yeah. In this topic, there are at least 5 types of research that I found. They are at least mean you find 5 lah. It might be 15, it might be 50, it might be 500. We do not know, but the only one we know is 5 lah. The one that I know is 5. So, first type of research might be discussing about the historical frameworks of this. For example, you're talking about person with disabilities, for example. One is talking about the histories on how the research in PWDs was conducted. Second one is that the second type of research might be on technicals. Yeah? Second type might be talking about technical. So when you talk about PWD, what the technical requirement? Yeah? The third type of research might be touching on the regulation. Yeah, I mean the guidelines, the rules, the design framework. I mean it is a law. It's more to the law and how it was implemented. Yeah, maybe the fourth type of research might be talk about design. Yeah, you talk about more on the design for PWD's people. Yeah. So maybe the last one talk about the psychological aspect of it. So you by talking this scenario, you are talking about, okay, there are these 5 types of research that it has been done. Then mine will be sitting in here. Of course, when you putting yourself, you are talking about the research gap lah. Yeah? Research gap means what after you exploring these 5 research scenarios, then you find out, okay, this one there's a gap here, so I want to sit here. It's your decision. So I think the first requirement for PhD is how you can place your research among others' research. And that's the first requirement. I keep telling my students, there are 3 there are 3 requirements for PhDs. One is the placement, where you go for research scenario, research gap, big pictures, yeah, the needs of the research. Yeah, that's the first one. Second one, we talk about contribution. Yeah, contribution means, as I said, your issue must be urgent, must be important. That's why we need this research. That's why we need this research. While the third one, I call it methodology. Yeah, the methodology should sound. Sound means in the civil engineering or structural terms, the whole structure won't collapse. Yeah, that what we call the methodology should sound. So mean the justification, logic, the flow, the evidence. Those are the things that you have to show. Yeah, when you did your methodological part lah, which is part of this class lah. Yeah. Okay. I hope it's clear, Mr. Robin Hood.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the question. Any other question, maybe? Okay, just to reminding, I think we have Mr. Junbu here, Muhammad Hussein, and also Madam Yus. Yeah? Just to remind three of you about your assignments. Yeah, don't forget to submit your assignment. Yeah, I think I've shared the assignment before during our first brief. Yeah? Let just while waiting, maybe other people was asking a question. Sorry, stop this.
Hai, Assalamualaikum, Dr. Nang.
Hai, Waalaikumsalam.
Hazwani. I'm
Okay.
in my second semester doing PhD, and my topic is actually something similar to what you mentioned before. I'm studying on louvers. I'm
Okay.
comparing different design of louvers actually. So I'm doing environmental science, and my technique of data collection is a real experiment and simulation. So it's not really a question, but it's more on getting your advice because currently I want to produce review, a review on something about my research. But then every time I want to narrow down, the thing is when I keep on reading, it getting wider and wider. That is one of my number one issue because I think other researcher, they highlighted things like thermal mass, building system, and then I found out there's also an engineering aspect, related to my research, which is not highlighted. I think that is one of the gap lah I have identified. So yeah, I think I'm getting quite overwhelmed at this moment. So probably some word of advice from you.
Okay, very good question. Yeah, if you attend the previous lectures, yeah, by Professor Tajuddin, I think there's one very good statement by him. Yeah, he was quoting Buddha. Buddha say, "Wise people stay confused." So during that time, wow, I was surprised lah how we actually we with our confusion we are trying to understand more about things. Yeah? I think that's okay. First question. Yeah, so you need to answer the first question to yourself that uh, how long you plan to finish your PhDs? I think that's the first question. Some people I receive lots of questions because I publish a books. Yeah, the books titles was finishing your PhD in 2 years and your master in 6 months. Yeah, based on my personal experience. Yeah, and my student experience. Yeah, I received lots of questions. Some people was mocking the statement by saying that. Why you want to rush? Why do you want to hurry? So for me, different people have different scenarios. Yeah. Some people you have a scholarship. You have a scholarship. Somebody paying for your fees, and you might be a lecturer in some university. So you don't have any rush. You don't have to rush your research. You can enjoy your time. Yeah. Some of my friends they go to overseas, staying for like 10 years, only finishing PhDs. But for me, number one is that some people they have to pay themselves. Yeah. So that's why you have to be very particular on the time frame. because you have to pay every semester. I'm one of the person who pay for my own tuition fees, not because I don't get scholarship, because I don't want to get it. Some university when I working in Indonesia, they offer me a scholarship, but I say it takes longer time in the process. So I want to finish as soon as possible, because I believe that you should stop thinking about yourself as young as possible, as early as possible, so that you can think about other people, because you become valuable when you think about other people. Sorry to bring you in this motivational talk a bit. Yeah. So you need to answer yourself: how long you going to finish your studies? If you plan to finish it in the very long times, then you can take your time and enjoy it. But if you want to finish it as soon as possible, you have to scope it down. I know it's happening not only to you, to many of my students. Yeah, I think lots of them. When you say it's like when you digging up, you find a new thing, which is very interesting. There's a new things there, and you find a new things. Wow, that one is also very good. So I always tell my students, I tell them that PhDs or masters or postgraduate, it's like you getting your license to play soccer, to play football. You want to play soccer, then you need a license to play that, or to drive a car. You need a license. So PhD and masters is like you getting a license for that. I mean, you haven't drive yet, you haven't played soccer. So when you graduating, you meet your work as an academician, as a lecturer or researcher, analyst. Then you're playing soccer, you're driving your cars there. So as a license, is exercise. Yeah? So PhD and masters for me is basically is academic exercise on how to train yourself to think, to argue, and to write academically. Yeah. So you have to make decisions. Yeah, don't go. Don't you have to choose. Yeah, you have to choose which direction are you heading to. Yeah, and I keep telling my students, do not throw everything on your PhDs, because you're not your PhDs is just one license for you to start research in the future. Yeah. For example, when you did a research on these louvers, on the sustainable designs, pick up one topic, yeah, finish it up. Yeah, for me, asking, I'm telling you, when you finish your PhD or you finish your masters, the world will be opened up to you. Yeah. So previously, when I don't have any master, I don't have any PhDs. When I meet somebody, oh, doctor, you meet somebody, you are afraid to talk with other people. Not only in your countries, in Malaysia or Indonesia, but also internationally. You meet somebody, wow, professor or doctor. But when you get PhD, you're at par with them. You're at par with them as an academician. Yeah, means you can talk with them. They're not also respecting you as that. So the world will be opened up for you, a new world for you. Yeah? Then you can always pick up other research on that. So, Ms. Azwani, my suggestion is that pick up a topic, scope it down. Yeah. Of course, you'll find many other things, because you also need, as I said, you need the research scenarios on that. Yeah, you need to understand all context. Yeah? This is what I found. That's why I always use the word they are at least. Yeah? Setidaknya, there are at least 5 types of study. There are at least 3 types of study that I found. Later on, if people ask you, don't you consider about this? Oh, that's very good suggestion, and then I can include it in my thesis. So always like that. So always positive. Yeah? Actually, I have 19 tips for you to finish your PhD or studies within a short period of time. Yeah? One of them, when you have your viva, always think positive. Yeah? Whatever comment you receive, react positively. Yeah? Even though the comment was sometimes very harsh. Yeah? So that was for your viva later on. You can discuss further. But you have to choose your scope. Yeah, do not keep it. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that the thing that you, not to say throw away, you put aside. The thing that you put aside is something that won't be useful for you. Yeah, For example, when I did my masters, I study many things. Yeah? I wrote, just for information, I wrote 9 chapters, for my masters. 9 chapters. And my supervisor only accept 5, 6 at the end. Yeah? 6 chapters only that he accept. The other 4 is not being thrown away. The other 4, I'm going to use it for my research, for my publication, for my a topic for my future master or PhD students. Yeah. So don't throw away everything on your PhD. Pick a topic, select which one related with you. The one that might not be related or just a bit related, then you can put aside first. Then you can focus on something. Yeah. You have to move. Unless you plan to enjoy your PhD times, take a longer time. So my suggestion is that finish your PhD as soon as possible, yeah, as fast as possible, because you will have a better futures in the future. So scope down, pick your topics lah, pick your topics, and then focusing on that. So the PhD should be deep. Yeah, Azwani doing PhD kan?
Yes, second semester.
Yeah. So PhD should be specific and should be deep. Some of my students, I keep telling them you have to be focusing it down and deep. You have to dive, yeah, in some topics. So don't let yourself float lah. So when you pick up some things, not to throw it away, just keep aside lah. Keep it as your record. And in the future later on, when you have your PhD later on, you'll have your source, yeah, for your publication or research later on. Azwani, scholarship or pay yourself?
Grant and scholarship.
So
I need to finish
I'm not suggesting
within 3 years.
I'm not suggesting you to finish a long period of time.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah, because I know you have your own personal journeys. Yeah? You have your personal journeys. I mean, you think about when you want to become a lecturer, when you want to be maybe a professor, you want to be associate professor, you want to be researcher, you want to be somebody well known. Yeah, so it develops. I mean, it takes time to develop. Don't sorry to say the words, don't waste your times in your just waste everything in your study time. You make it more efficient and focus on that. I hope it helps.
I'll do that. Sure. Thank you. Very helpful, Doctor.
Okay. Focus down. Yeah, focus down. Don't float. Okay, any other question maybe? Okay. Any other questions? Maybe one more, if anyone. Okay, I think we can close our session today. I mean, I hope it was useful for you. Yeah, I hope it was useful for you. And again, to remind the assignments, Yus was asking. I think supposed to be next week. Yeah, the due date. Yeah, the date should be next week. So somewhere next week. Let me check it first. I think week number 6 or 8 something. So I'll share in the groups, yeah, later on. No problems. Yeah. So but it shouldn't be a problem lah. Just answering the question based on the thesis that you read. Yeah? And I hope for UCSI student you can get the full sample of thesis. I can give you a sample of thesis, yeah, later on, yeah, so that you can refer in terms of format, in terms of content and everything. Yeah. I hope today's sessions was useful for you. Yeah. We will have more speakers. Yeah. I mean, I think the next session should be like Dr. Nazira or Dr. Aina, maybe giving a on the quantitative and qualitative. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting discourse on that. I hope you can ask more questions during that time. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much again for your attendance in this talks. As I said, I recorded the sessions. So if any one of you would like to have a copy of the previous lectures, yeah, I think I can share you. I might need your emails, yeah, to share on that. Yeah, I think I might need to download it. Maybe I upload it in somewhere so that it becomes easier to access. Yeah. Okay. Again, thank you very much for your times and for your questions and for your attentions. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.